Welcome to the GTP. My name is Scott, and you and I are going to go ahead and discuss 10 new exciting titles coming out this February. The goal of the video is to share things that are on my radar, manga I'm excited to check out, and I think you will want to as well. And I'd love to know in the comments below, what do you think of these 10 titles? What are ones that you think that should be on my radar? Ones that as a community that we can discuss. It was really cool with the first one we did in January. So many people just discussing different things that they are looking forward to as well. And it seemed to me that this video was helpful. So my hope is that this one will be helpful as well. And it'll give you some titles that you didn't think of before. So with that, let's go ahead and hit the ground running here, kind of with a grand slam with Mujina in the Deep. This is from the same author that gave us the wonderful one-shot Soleil, as well as Goodnight Pun Pun. Now, it is nothing like Goodnight Pun Pun and like Soleil, but I do love this author. He has some of the best artwork out there. Now, you can actually see this on the Viz Media app. I will caution at first, this is not for kids whatsoever. With that said, this series just really made me think. It's about an assassin, and this idea with the society is that people can lose their citizenship, and the people who don't have their citizenship, they can just kind of do whatever they want. It's kind of a gray area what they can do and not do. And so you're going through the society of assassins that are considered not citizens and just kind of lawless, doing their own thing. And then they get hired by people of the law. And the idea is that, hey, I'm not breaking the rules if I pay someone who's not considered a citizen to go do whatever they want, because they kind of exist outside the law itself. There is very, very gripping, very thought-provoking, and just, man, tons of violence, which I'm not trying to sell it for its violence, but I just want to make sure it's assassin, not for kids. It's heavy on the adult content as well, but the idea of just this breaking down of society versus the haves and have-nots and just trying to get through life. Maybe you're born in a situation where you're not a citizen, so you're seen as worthless or unapproachable or untouchable, and you want to have a life worth living, and you don't want that life to be that of just being an assassin and just taking out others. There's things that are very drug infused in this as well. Very, very interesting concept. Again, on the Viz Media app, that might be the best way to check it out first. And it's web only, because you can't check it on the actual app itself, but only on the web, because again, it is not for kids, but it's one I think is very, very interesting. Let's talk about another one as we're going into Viz Media, and that next one is going to be Hunter x Hunter is now coming with a 3-in-1. So instead of having to buy these gorgeous volumes individually, we now have a lovely 3-in-1 coming out from Viz. I think that might be one of the best ways to go ahead and collect this series. It was very hard to go ahead and get the singles when I got them. It took a while, and as they get out of print here and there, and then they come back in print. We're at 38 volumes. So for 38 volumes individually, that's, you know, expensive, hard to find, but now that you can get these, go ahead as a 3-in-1. I think that's a great way to go ahead and collect Hunter x Hunter. It's one that I would recommend. Let's move on to another one I think should be on your radar. Let's talk about A Certain Scientific Railgun. We're getting volume 19. This is volume 1. This is a series we're getting once a year now from 7 Seas, so I thought it'd be a good one just to bring up for those who are collecting this series. This is part of the same universe as A Certain Scientific Index. And then from the light novel as well, we have A Certain Scientific Accelerator, which is a side story. And then Astrobot is another side story. But for those that are looking, the reason why I also want to bring it up is Certain Scientific Railgun comes to be in and out of print a bit. And at one time, it was harder to get these volumes. And it seems they're not being printed as fast or as a priority from 7 Seas. So because of that, I think this is something that is worth checking out. If you're already getting the series, I almost had to get a reminder like, oh, there's another one. It's been a year. What was going on in the story? So for that, I think it's important. I want to bring it up on a radar. Another one I like to talk about on these ones are what are series that are completed is important to me. So another one, we're going to 7 Seas, Candy and Cigarettes. We're getting volume 11. This is an assassin series with this girl and assassin being mentor. I haven't read the series yet, but it's one that was on my radar for a while. And with the last volume, it's now complete. I'm going to go ahead and read the series right away. So I think it's important to bring up things that, hey, what is just about to be finished that we should go and discuss. So Candy and Cigarettes, the last volume is coming out. That will be complete. Let's go ahead and talk about something from 7 Seas, which I think is exciting, is Victoria Many Faces. This is the novel. I really liked this novel. And what's interesting, this is volume 1. And volume 1, the light novel itself just felt like complete in itself. You know, on theme on assassins. We have another assassin series. This is Victoria. She is an assassin and decided she is done with being an assassin and tries to go ahead and just live her life in this other area. And then, as you know, your past comes to haunt you, and you can't just be an assassin. She takes this girl in, and as she's working on this girl, she doesn't want to treat her assassin skills, but that's the skills that she has. And following her around in her story, it was absolutely stunning and beautiful. I really, really loved the light novel. And because the light novel was so cool, I'm really excited to see this in manga format. So the manga format from Yen Press is coming out this month for February. I think it should be on your radar. If you're a light novel person, I think you're really going to like this light novel. But I understand, me being dyslexic, I prefer the manga route. But so that could be something I think in your radar. Another one, let's talk about Yen Press. Another thing I like to do in these videos is talk about volume 2s that maybe you didn't check out volume 1. Another one on Yen Press I really liked is going to be Riviere and the Land of Prayer manga, a Wandering Witch side story. So I've never read the Wandering Witch series, and I immediately wanted to after I read the volume 1 of this. There's 3 volumes of this total. This was a really good just detective story, and just the world building in itself on this island and what's going on with the people, and for prayers coming true, and then some people are cursed. This was very, very interesting. I was gripped with volume 1. I loved volume 1 so much that I'm excited to get the second volume of this series. And again, I want to now check out A Wandering Witch. So with this video, as we talked about, I like to, bring up things that might not have been on your radar. If Yen Press didn't send this to me to review, I would have never thought about this series. I'm so grateful they did because I absolutely love the side story so much. And what's nice is I don't have to read A Wandering Witch to build it. This is a self-contained thing. I'm sure reading Wandering Witch will give me more appreciation for this, but I really I thought it was great. Let's talk about another thing that's being completed, and that is Soul Eater, the perfect edition. Here's volume 1. Here's 16. 17 was delayed. Originally supposed to come out in December. We're now getting it this month, and that is another complete. And man, I love these hardcovers. These are so nice. So this is another one I think that's going to be worth checking out here. This is from the same author that gave us Fire Force, one we haven't been reading. I know, Scott, come on, we need to be reading these things, but man, I gotta say, this is just absolutely stunning what they've done with these perfect editions. It's totally worth it. The pages, it's so glossy and nice. They just such a great job with this production of this, and I could easily see these going up in price in the future just because of how expensive it must be for these gorgeous hardcovers. So if you are looking for a series that is now complete, these are easier to find the hardcovers sometimes than the singles from the Yen Press, although I do appreciate Yen Press reprinted the singles. I would go in with Square and X and go ahead and get this gorgeous deluxe edition, and you're saving a little more money getting it this way. So next one I want to talk about is going to be a little more even outside. This is from Webtoon, and this is The Mafia Nanny. So why The Mafia Nanny? Well, I actually did a promo video for Webtoons, and when I was working on a promo video for Webtoons, they went and they said, hey, if you're looking for ideas on how to make a really good just advertisement for Webtoons, you got to check out someone who made this clip for A Mafia Nanny. And it just had such a strong hook, and I was immediately like, oh, this is good. So after that, I went and I started reading it on Webtoons, a bit of The Mafia Nanny, and this is about a woman who, as a little girl, her parents were killed from the mafia, and then she goes ahead into this thing where she is working hard as a nanny, and now she is going to be a nanny for this mafia, for this dad who's, and he has a son, and then the idea that she realized that, oh, this person's connected with the people that killed my parents. So very funny, and also, everyone seems to be attractive and good looking in Webtoon, so I think it's just funny, and that's part of the humor joking about was this idea is that her boss is super attractive even though he's probably bad, and she probably will want to assassinate him. So I read the first couple chapters, and I just thought it was really good. So The Mafia Nanny, I know, Scott, what are we doing here? But I really liked it. If you look for the short, I'll actually put a link in the description for the short for it. I just thought it was so funny. I think it's one that's worth checking out. So yeah, if I have it, I'll go and I'll put a link below so you can check that one out. Another one I'm going to bring up, this is also in, if you checked out my top 10 of series coming out for the year, next coming out from 7 Seas is a collector's edition of the Pet Shop of Horrors. I think that's another one that a lot of people are going to want to pick up. I believe it's in a 2-in-1. I was just really interested in this detective type of series, following that people are getting these pets and they're based on people's personalities and they're not always good. There is an overarching story, and this is a shoujo series. I've just heard so many good things about it. You know, when they put the word collector's edition there, like, oh my. So when I get that, I'll go ahead and do more of a detailed analysis and show you what I thought about actually the series one shot. I think that'd be a great just one video to do, to talk about that collector's edition. So that is coming out. And last is Kill the Villainous by the Eyes Press Line. I hope I can get a review copy because I would love to talk about this. If not, I'll go ahead and I'll pre-order this. But Kill the Villainous, I loved how the villainous turns the hourglass. It's sort of same thing, but this also gave me vibes. It's a dark fantasy. I love dark fantasy. Gave me the same vibes of why Raylena ended up at the Duke's mansion. This is about a girl who's trapped in a novel, which kind of like Raylena, and oh, that has my heart. But in this one, she is the villainous, and she is doing everything she can to get out of this novel, but for some reason it seems the only path that's going to work is that she has to walk the path of the villainous herself. She doesn't want to be the villainous, but she has to be the villainous to go ahead and get out of the situation and probably get back to the normal world, from my understanding. So man, I don't know, I'm a sucker for these Eyes Press Line. They just have knockout wonderful title after wonderful title after wonderful title. And I just really have loved their manhwas, and just the ones they've handpicked are just been phenomenal. I haven't really read one yet that I was like, oh, what are they thinking here? They have just done a great job just curating just wonderful content. So Kill the Villainous is one that I'm excited to checking out. I think it's just going to be a whole lot of fun. So those are, there we have there 10 new exciting titles coming out this February. I hope I brought up at least one title that was not on your radar or one that you thought about. So again, I'd love to know in the comments below, what are some ones that you're excited about coming out this February? Something maybe that should be on my radar that I didn't even consider. As you guys know, there are so many other titles coming out. I thought of talking about Pink and Habanero, Volume 2. I thought of talking about Volume 2 of Kaguchi. I apologize, I'm butchering that. There's so many good things. So that's all I have for it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.